They drove into flooded washes with their kids in their cars. They got stuck, rescued, and arrested, charged with child abuse, only to be let off by the Pima County Attorney's Office. Why? Last night, we promised to get you answers. Tonight, Not on Your Side delivers. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Jennifer Waddell.
And I'm Guy Atchley. It's a story that has many of you, our Not on Your Side viewers, raising your voices in anger and raising questions of your own.
And we are not only getting our questions as to why these charges were dismissed answered, but we're getting your questions answered as well. Last month, Pima County deputies arrested 18-year-old Tiffany Sherman and 29-year-old Edna Encinas after rescuing them and their children from flooded washes. Deputies say road closure signs were posted. Both women were charged with child abuse, considered a felony, for putting their children in danger. The reason, according to the sheriff's office, these charges apply to any act that endangers the safety of children. And while the county attorney's office says it's not that cut and dry, many of you think differently, raising your viewer's voice on our Facebook page. Debbie says, makes no sense. It's clear child endangerment. Kelly tells us those children didn't have a choice. The parents at least should get stupid motorist and endangerment. And Deidre says flat out, if you're stupid enough to drive around signs and into a wash, you deserve to sit and rot in jail. So why did prosecutors drop the charges? Could they have charged for another crime like reckless driving? Kevin Keene went back to the county attorney's office for some answers, and this time we're getting them because Not on Your Side wants to know. We know you want to know. Here's Kevin Keene.
Pima County Chief Criminal Deputy Kelly Johnson says she cannot discuss specific reasons why her office dropped the initial charges against mothers Edna Encinas and Tiffany Sherman. She did explain this about any crime.
If we as prosecutors do not believe the evidence is sufficient to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, we can't go forward. And sometimes the evidence simply isn't strong enough for us to proceed.
Johnson adds child abuse charges require the state to prove a host of things beyond a reasonable doubt.
So it's not simply perhaps evidence of endangerment or simply evidence that she went into the wash. There's the element of criminal intent and the nature of potential injury to the child.
Criminal intent, something Johnson says proving any crime requires.
It is that criminal intent that differentiates, unwise behavior to criminal behavior. And there are lots of things that people do that maybe aren't the wisest decisions, but they doesn't make them necessarily a crime.
Can you consider other offenses, like if not child abuse, then reckless driving, endangerment, were those considered?
Well, we have, depending on the circumstances, certainly the county attorney's office isn't bound by what law enforcement brings.
Johnson says yes, prosecutors considered charges for other crimes but haven't pursued them at this point. We also shared with the attorney's office questions from you, Not on Your Side viewers. On our Facebook page, Owen Thomas wrote, if a father had done the same thing, they would have thrown the book at him. It is gender bias, pure and simple.
Is there any gender bias, as Owen suspects?
No. The law is the law, and it applies equally to men, women, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters.
Rita Howard commented, now they are not going to be held accountable for their actions?
Will they be held accountable for what they did?
Well, not criminally, no. However, in Miss Encinas' case, for example, she was arrested and taken to jail. That's a pretty big wake-up call.
These cases are not closed. I spoke with the Sheriff's Department, which arrested these women and recommended the child abuse charges. The agency says with the dismissing of those charges, it will consider revisiting the cases. A spokesman says that could possibly lead to misdemeanor charges for a traffic offense.
And prosecutors could also press new charges in the future.
Yes, they can. That is not off the table right now. In one of these cases, as we've said before, the attorney's office is working with the Sheriff's Department to look at the evidence to see if any charges are necessary. And in the other case, if there's new evidence, if there's any changes, charges could still come.
Kevin, thanks so much.